Hi you guys, I'm Tammy J and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now today I would like to talk about when you first meet someone, is it a good idea to talk about your ex on a date or when you first meet someone? But before we get right into it, please hit that subscribe, smash that like really hard, hit the notification bell. That way when I upload videos, you guys will be able to see my videos. Now let's get right into it. Let's talk about this. Should you talk about your ex when you first meet someone? What if they ask you? Should you talk about it? I would say no. It's totally up to you. I think it's a bad idea to talk about your ex when you first meet someone. After all, you're on a date with someone to get to know them and talk about who they are, what they're about. They want to know what you're about. So why bring up your exes on a first date? I think that if you get to talking about your ex or your past relationships when you first meet someone, guess what? By doing that, you may not have a second date. So be very careful. I would say from past experiences, when I've met someone, I can tell you there was no second or no third date because they would ask me, and it'll be someone maybe I've been in a bad relationship with, and I'll just run my mouth. I'll get to talking about, how he was an idiot. That's my favorite word. And how I didn't like him and, what he did, blah, 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 the whole spiel. But then I noticed, didn't get asked on a second date. So down the line, what I started doing is, if they ask me, I'll just change the subject and be like, well, let's not talk about that right now. We're here to talk about you and me. Let's get to know each other. We don't need to talk about anybody in our past. But I think getting more into it, you guys, is that you're there to meet that person and get to know them, what they're about. If you start talking about past relationships too soon, that may spoil it in the beginning. And then also down the line, I think it would be okay, a month or so, when you get to know that person a little better. If it comes up in conversation, then I would just talk about it briefly, just briefly. Because what's the use of talking about the past when you've moved on? Maybe that person is healthy now, have took some time to their self. Maybe you have took some time to yourself and you're ready to have a healthy relationship. And bringing up the past can't do anything for you, especially if you moved on and you're doing better for yourself. And then X mean X, you guys. That's what it means. Past tense. You've learned from your past experiences. Now you're moving on to be a better person. You guys, we're in the next half of our life. We're getting older. We don't need to be dwelling on past relationships. By this time in our life, 40s and 50s, we need to be thinking about getting into a healthy relationship with someone, being happy, and just having a good time and get to know that person. Not dwelling on the past. Because guess what? When you get to know that person, if you dwell on their exes and things like that, that's going to you start getting obsessed with that. Trying to compare yourself to that person. Guess what? It's an ex. If they was going to be with that person, they would still be with them. But guess what? They're getting to know you. So don't care about the past. Don't care about how many women they've dated in the past. That's something else. If someone was dating several people before they met you, then have enough respect for yourself to know that you may be the one. One day at a time, you guys. Give yourself a chance to get to know someone and someone to get to know you. Don't care about how many past relationships they had or who they're talking to. It's about you and that person. That's what you have to focus on. And I've learned that. I'm not trying to tell you what to do because I'm not a relationship expert. I'm telling you about me, what I've done and what I've went through and the mistakes that I've made. One mistake, talking about my ex too soon. Another mistake, dwelling on somebody else's ex that they done been with. Well, comparing myself to that person. Am I going to be good enough for them? You know, and things like that. That can ruin a whole damn relationship, you guys. Don't do that. One day at a time. Get to know that person. Don't bring up past relationship, exes, past, and don't, most definitely, don't talk about the baby mama, the relationship they had. Focus, focus, focus on you and that person. And then that way, you know, you can go on and have a healthy relationship, and you both want to have a healthy relationship, I would think, if you meet someone. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you meet someone and they're dwelling and on their past with that ex relationship, and they're still angry about it and you can see it, I'm going to tell you, that's a red flag. That means that they may still be in love with that person, they're not done with them, and they still got some healing to do. So therefore, there's not going to be no space for that person to get to know you, because they're still in the past. They're still thinking about their past. That's a red flag that someone still have feelings for their ex. Now, totally up to you. If I was you, I wouldn't take it no further. I wouldn't say stop talking to the person, but I would say don't try to get serious with that person, even if the chemistry is there. Because guess what? It all depends on how long ago that relationship ended. If they say, oh, a month or two ago, I would be very cautious, especially if the person is still really angry about it. I think that's not enough time to get over someone, especially if you're coming out of a relationship 3, 4, 5 years, a couple of months, that person still needs some time to heal. Some people just be jumping in from one relationship to another and not giving themselves time to get healthy again, to get focused, and to be able to know that they can do much better for themselves and not think that that was the only person. You know, sometimes we got to let go of the past so we can move on, learn from our mistakes, get better, get our mental health together. So when we meet someone else, guess what? We're in a good mood and we know exactly what we want. We want from them. And we're not going to let anybody waste our time and be in our space if it's not worth it. Thank you, you guys. That's what I wanted to talk about today. It kind of went off a little bit on that, but we don't want anybody in our space that's going to take up our time, because we're in the next half of our life. So we have to think about it. Don't talk about your exes on when you first meet someone. Don't talk about past marriages or relationships when you're getting to know someone. Again, down the line, maybe it's okay, but keep it to 1 or 2 sentences. Don't go into detail. Say, just touch on it and say, well, it didn't work, but guess what? I'm doing so much better right now. I am happy I had that relationship, because I would not be as good as I am now for myself, keeping myself healthy, if I wouldn't have went through that. So I'm okay with that. I'm ready to move on and get to know someone so I can have a healthy relationship. That's what I wanted to talk about, you guys. Thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel, listening to me and what I have to say about bringing up our exes and past relationships. That's a big no. You guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe, smash that like really hard, hit the notification bell. That way, when I upload videos, you guys will be able to see my videos. Thank you to the subscribers that I do have. Thank you for listening to my videos. Now, drop some comments, you guys. I would love to hear from you guys. And other than that, stay safe and healthy and wear your mask so we can get through this. Have a good one.